And we are live and we are back. Let's go. I'm Cory, your host, one half of the Quarter Full of Fat podcast. And I am back like I never left with another installment of Wealth Wednesdays. Here on the Quarter Full of Fat podcast, we discuss health and wealth, finances and fitness, and everything in between. And we want to make sure you save more and say less and keep making better your best. Yes, yes. However, my co-host Jordan is back from paternity leave, but when he went on paternity leave, I started these Wealth Wednesdays where we get straight to the finance information. And I know y'all see the title of this video. I don't know exactly what I'm going to make it, but it's going to be somewhere in the realm of who should Black people take their financial advice, information, coaching, whatever you want to talk about from. This was sent to me again, another video that was sent to me by one of our listeners. Shout out to the Quarter Full Effect social media consultant, China Keys. Shout out to Made in China. Go follow China. That's the homie. Shout out to Squad. She sent me this link. And the way China works is, you know how people, I'm one of those friends who's like, I'm always like amped up, let's say. I'm always turned or not cool. And my friends be like, warning other people, like, don't get them started, yada, yada. But however, my friends are the main ones who put the battery in my back. Now, China has sent me this link. She DM'd me on Twitter and she sent me this link that was in a thread and a link to an article that I'm going to discuss. And I'm thinking, my goodness, this is about to be insane. But before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, share and subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. Make sure you leave those rating reviews on the podcast platforms as well. You can follow me at sideline_Cory, and you can follow my co-host Jordan at StopStallingJ, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And then his business page is FinallyFit06 on Instagram, and then FinallyFit on Facebook, and his website is FinallyFit.live. All of our contact information is in the show notes on YouTube, and I need to find a better way to have y'all just know all of our information because I'm tired of saying it and having to remember it over and over again. But YouTube show notes, it's all there. Now, nothing about student loans. We're going straight into this topic because this article wasn't like crazy long. Again, I don't look at the articles for you first time listeners. I don't look at the articles before I discuss them, but I do skim over them to see how long they're going to be so I can, prep for how long I'm going to have to be talking. And this one didn't seem that long, but just based off of what I think it's going to be about and the slight skimming through the Twitter thread, I think this is about to be insane. And because China also sent it to me as well. And last thing before I get started, don't sue me, sue your mama. This is for entertainment purposes only. Jordan, neither myself or finance or fitness professionals. Any information you hear on here, you need to go and do your own research on and seek a professional before taking any action. All right, here we go. Let's get it. I'm hyped. As y'all can see, my background has changed. I'm moving again. I know, oh my goodness, but I'm being smart this time. Today is Monday. I'm trying to get the Wi-Fi changed over because I work from home. I'm trying to do that today. And I'm going to record this now. So I already got it up for Wednesday. And if stuff goes awry, I gave myself plenty of time to get it all fixed. And I know I got an episode up for y'all. Last time when I moved, I didn't have no Wi-Fi. It was a completely different situation. But y'all don't care about that. Y'all want me to get started. All right, let me share my screen real quick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the Twitter post. And let me see. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So one of the issues is when I go and watch the playback on YouTube, it's zoomed in more than what I see on my end. So I try to give y'all, I'm trying to figure out like that. I assume this is what y'all are seeing. But anyway, this is by Michael James, financial educator, bougie budgeter. It's a woman. It appears to be a woman. And the tweet was, I want Black people to stop recommending Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, it's on my list to read because this is like, it might be, I wouldn't say the most famous financial books, but it's one of the most popular ones. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is on my list to read. And then Rakim Sabri, social architect, he just goes and says, I'm going to drop this post here. And it's a link to an article. And this is what I'm going to read. But as y'all can see, for those who don't know, first time listening, shout out to Dave Ramsey, the baby steps, one of the GOATs. Dave is on here, Robert Kiyosaki, who is a writer of Rich Dad Poor Dad, for those who don't know. And I'm pretty sure all of you know who Grant Cardone is by now. Shout out to Grant Cardone when he said making $400K isn't that much money. He wasn't, I forget, I'm paraphrasing. He wasn't like wrong in what he said because $400K, depending on where you live at, that's not as much as you think it is. But the method in which he said it was like, ooh. Then he wouldn't said about, his marketing and advertisement towards Black people. But look, At some point in time, y'all, people getting out here and they get in the bag, and y'all know people is gonna go out and make this money. You just gotta deal with that. All right, let me zoom in a little bit more so I know y'all can see this. That might be too much. I'm gonna do it one more time. That's what he said. She said. All right, here we go. The impact of non-black financial figures on black financial wellness. My goodness, I am not one of those blackity black people, but this, I'm so excited to see this. Before I get into the article, because it's on the tip of my tongue. If you don't want to listen to, if you're black and you don't want to listen to non-black financial people, shout out to the Court and Full Effect podcast. You can come over here. You listen. You're doing it right now. You can listen to Anthony O'Neill, but you might not like Anthony O'Neill because he does come from a Dave Ramsey method. You might not like me because I didn't work for Ramsey Network, but I got my start with the Ramsey method as well. If you don't want myself or Anthony O'Neill, you can tune into Anton Daniels, but you might not like Anton Daniels because he might be too direct, like myself. Oh my goodness, y'all be complaining too much. You can do on Instagram, Bitch on Budgeting. You can do on Instagram, Definitely Gonna Be. Those are two black women. You can do, I can't remember everybody's handles, but there are a flurry. I did once episode on people you can follow on social media, but there are a bevy of people that you can follow if you're black, if you don't want to listen to the non-black financial advisors or figures, however you want to call it. You can listen to on YouTube, Pocket Watching with JT. That's the handle on YouTube. If you want to listen to someone that's black, EYO, Earn Your Leisure. Be careful now. Again, you got to be careful because all these people, some are financial advisors, but they're not fiduciaries, which means they aren't required to operate in your best interest. So you got to be careful with the scammers and things like that. If you see something, say something. I do my best if I see it, to bring it up on here, or at least cue it up to eventually bring it up because we discussed something one time that was on Earn Your Leisure with him 500 was bank fraud. My goodness. So you got to be careful with the scammers and things like that out there. But Pocket Watching with JT, he is I think he's a CFP and a CPA, or is a CFP. I think he's two of those three, but he's a fiduciary. He now obviously it's his YouTube, so it's not financial advice, it's entertainment purposes only because you're not one of his clients, but he is an actual black professional, okay, in this financial space on YouTube. So don't say you never had, any information. But you can follow, but if you're tuning in here, best believe over half a decade of, I'm gonna say banking experience. Yeah, over here. I was a teller though, but if you go see my LinkedIn, I have multiple people on my LinkedIn who are high up in the financial industry, been doing it for 2, 3, 4+ decades. So I have my sources with that. But all right, let's get into this article. Again, the impact of non-black financial figures on black financial wellness, exploring the role of cultural incompetence in shaping the financial beliefs and experience of black people. I'm gonna say this right now. Y'all can already see how long this video is, but I'm trying to say under 30 minutes. I already know this is gonna be over 30 minutes. I'm already 8 minutes in now. I haven't read it yet, but I'm just preparing. All right, again, this is by Raheem Sabri, and I believe that's him in the background. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's who it is. And again, from left to right, you got Grant Cardone, you got Robert Kiyosaki, and you got Dave Ramsey. Grant Cardone, I think his most notorious book is 10X. Robert Kiyosaki, again, Rich Dad Poor Dad, which was referencing the tweet. And then Dave Ramsey is going to be the Total Money Makeover. Now, before I actually even get started, I don't know. Let me say this. I'm going to be obviously biased because, let's see how much he's taking shots or, criticizing Dave. And, let's see what I have to say about that. But Dave is a person, whose method I know the most out of everybody on here. So I'm going to be naturally biased towards that just because that's information that I know off the top of my head. I know a little bit about Robert Kiyosaki and his method as far as what I've seen. And Grant Cardone is going to be who I know the least about. I know Grant Cardone is more into real estate and things like that. Grant and Robert are both on the debt side. Dave is completely not on the debt side. So that's why off rip, these is different. If these are three different financial perspectives, where you can, in short, put anyone who's pro debt is completely any debt at all, besides getting a mortgage one time, 15-year fix, as Dave Ramsey would do. Outside of that, you're going to be likely completely opposite of Dave Ramsey. He's no debt, no debt, no debt. So off rip, shout out to the thumbnail, shout out to the first picture on the article. Great clickbait, but you have to first think about, well, what is your general financial perspective? Because either you can't, you'd be hard pressed to choose, Dave and Robert Kiyosaki or Dave and Grant Cardone. You might be able to do a mix of Grant and Robert, but again, Dave is no debt at all. So I'm interested to see how, if he's gonna particularly talk about these three methods or other methods, or just in general use these people as the figureheads for the thumbnail. All right, because I mean, Dave's no debt, so I mean, Dave's not gonna be like, yeah, do these methods for the other two. All right, Raheem saying Raheem, is it Raheem or Rakim? Rakim, my bad. Hey, that's one of my brother-in-law's name. No, it's not. Is it? I can't remember. I got like 6, 7. Regardless, I had a conversation this week where I was given the biggest compliment. I love how you talk about race and finances. Here we go. I went in, shout out to the student loan episode where I went live almost 4 hours. Where I went, deep into information as far as the student loan situation, particularly impacting the Black community. All right, Rakim is going on to saying, or Rakim is going on to saying, I went on to explain how at the beginning of my journey as a financial educator, I would often recite what I learned from the likes of Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki, and Grant Cardone as sort of financial gospel. See, here's the issue: you can't mix in Dave with other people. I'm just gonna keep it a band. I wish I had my bookshelf up. I'm hoping it'll be up on the next Wealth Wednesday. But you can't mix, like Dave Ramsey's method is pretty much just his. You can't intertwine other people's methods in there. I'm just gonna keep it a band. Like you're hard pressed because other people are usually gonna have some type of acceptance with taking out debt outside of a mortgage or not aggressively paying off debt as fast as possible. Dave Ramsey method is flat out save $1,000. After you do that, do nothing else. Work as much as you can to pay off your debt as fast as possible. Pay for the bare minimum. Healthcare, don't even invest in your 401k, things like that. Stop investing at all. If you have non-retirement investments, liquidate that, put it towards your debt, pay off your debt as fast as possible. The Dave Ramsey method is clear and concise, and he makes it clear on what his method is. Robert and Grant, I know, are on the super pro debt side. I forgot how much Robert Kiyosaki, I heard him say he had in debt. I think it was over $500 million. He's like hundreds of millions of dollars in debt. Now his net worth, assets minus liabilities. But it was like, my goodness. And he was proud of it. Cool. That's a financial situation. But it was like, my goodness. All right. Gospel. And then you're saying I would pick the pieces that were helpful. See, I'm about to pick this apart. I can already see. Don't do this. See, don't pick the pieces that were helpful. You have to figure out what you want to do. So if you want to avoid debt, you need to pick the financial methods or financial gurus, advisors. What is it? What are they? It's a term. Financial figures, right? The people who talk about finances, you need to go on the no debt side of the house. Now, it doesn't have to be all the way on the Dave Ramsey side where essentially no debt at all, but it has to be people who are going to talk about, aggressively pay off debt and ensure don't use OPM, other people's money, to your advantage. Or you're going to be on the side where you're talking about you can use OPM, other people's money. That's a quick way to figure out what side of the financial track you're going to be on, whether you're going to be pro debt or anti debt as far as your method and how you're going to use it to build wealth. And just essentially live your life on a day-to-day and monthly basis, year-to-year basis. So let me say that first. That's probably the main issue. He's picking and choosing. Like the Dave Ramsey method, you can't pick Dave Ramsey method and insert Robert Kiyosaki's method as far as how they're actually talking about you need to execute your finances. Not in the sense of have a budget, right? That's everybody's thing, right? But the particulars that make them distinct from other people. Then he goes on to say, speaking of financial gospel, I would evangelize the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, often stating that the book changed my life. It did change your life. Shout out to Money Makeover for me. But when I look at it, at the context of information being shared, I noticed two things. That it preyed, I haven't read this book, that it preyed on the hopes and dreams of those plagued by poverty for an escape. It often came from a messenger who didn't look like me. Shout out to capitalism. There's going to be a top and a bottom. Just get over it. Like that. There's one thing to complain about capitalism, but like either operate in it. Oh, Jesus. Operate in it to where it's to your benefit, but you can't complain how capitalism works. I mean, it's just how it is. There's going to be three classes: poor class, lower class, middle class, and upper class. It's capitalism. That's how it is. All while that's not entirely problematic, in and of itself, I knew that there was a need for representation, right, in the financial community, right, to look like me. So I set off to create his own content and share a story, write a book. All right, fill in the missing pieces. Thus, Financially Irresponsible, okay, I think it's this book, was born. And then later, this newsletter and podcast where I can discuss financial empowerment, financial trauma for people who look like me. Boy, I cannot, and I've been teasing the Bible Talk episode for almost 2 years now. But that Bible Talk episode is going to be crazy when we start citing some of these Bible verses. You might not have grown up in church, but I know your grandma did. I know your grandma was likely someone who grew up in the church. And we're going to talk about some of these financial principles on the biblical side or the Dave Ramsey side that we're going to figure out, whether or not the elders are sticking to. Because I love can't remember the exact verse in Proverbs, but, you leave something for your children's children, right? And then they're saying, well, when they're talking about what you leave behind for your children's children, that's not all. It's not saying only money. Now they're trying to okay, now it's like, oh my goodness, now it's not saying just money so you can get it out or not leaving no money behind. Again, how do you work 40, 50, 60 years? Not one, not two, not three. How do you work 4, 5, 6 decades and don't got no damn money? You can't even pay for your own funeral. This is insanity. Insanity. All right. I have to admit, however, that I thought I was going to lose people in the deliberate niching down. Okay, he's saying just talking about this particular space he was going to get into from a financial perspective, that by expressing my blackness, I would alienate my non-black audience. I'm gonna say this. I think black people are the only people who worry about that. Like, do you think the other communities think like I'm a white person, I'm gonna worry about alienate the other people? Here goes my wife calling me. Hello. Yes, yes. I answer you live, so people know I care about you and I love you. She's laughing. You said what? All right, love you too. I'll call you another. All right. All right. See, I used to record on my phone and it was on Do Not Disturb, so I wouldn't get a call in between. But now that I got my camera now, again, shout out to my brother Jordan, I'm gonna get calls now. All right, again, I think it's two episodes in a row she called. All right, so he couldn't have been more wrong. Yeah, I mean, don't worry about alienating people. I mean, your audience is your audience. Just put it like this. My goodness, hip hop, rap music, that would be considered black culture. The main supporters of that are not black. That should be the end all be all conversation right there. If you're black and worry about alienating people. Oh my goodness. See what's missing from what's missing from the financial space are the various experiences that we have when it comes to money from the perspectives of race, culture, spirituality, and whatever unique beliefs we hold onto that act as an accelerant or a barrier to financial success. Now, spirituality, religion, but I know we're not about to get into no Bible talk on this. Y'all gonna now don't now that I got the share the screen, I gotta get a new mouse. I'm gonna try to get that this week. Don't make if he makes me pull up the Bible app on here. So if we want to start talking about spirituality, right? I mean, let's be very clear. Being a Christian does not mean you don't have money, because the Catholic Church got money. If you're a Christian, right, you got the right Old Testament, New Testament, and not the only difference, but essentially the biggest difference between Christianity and Judaism is, in short, Christians believe in Old Testament, New Testament. Jewish people just believe in the Old Testament, real short. Well, the Old Testament, that's where Proverbs is. That's where a lot of financial information is. So, and they got a lot of money over there. So it's like the Catholic, how much money? Never mind. How much money does the Catholic Church have, y'all? I mean, it's Christianity, right? Black people, and I believe they read the same Bible. I haven't seen every verse that every non-black person has said from a Christian standpoint, but I think it's the same Bible. So it has to be how it's being taught, not where it's being taught from. I'm gonna say it again. It has to be how it's being taught, or what exactly they're saying, how they're paraphrasing it and explaining it, but not where it's being taught from. All right, just if you don't believe me, then shout out Dave Ramsey to go, because this is who I got this from. Go read Proverbs. All right, Proverbs, the book of wisdom. Is not, if you're not Christian or religious, it's not super a whole bunch of religious stuff in there. It's just a lot of quote unquote advice, words of wisdom. And there's crazy amount of financial information in there. That's where I talk about, having money to leave to your children's children. That's why when I talk about where it says, you're stupid if you cosign like that, that's a contemporary English version, CEV. But that's where there's a lot of financial information just right in there. Y'all talk about these. Y'all skip right to Proverbs 31. Talk about who finds a virtuous wife. Nah, go to the other 30 chapters of that book and let me know. All right. But again, he's talking about unique beliefs we hold on to, right, act as accelerant or barrier to financial success. All right. Absent of these factors, We allow others to we allow who is we? Why allow others to define our financial success? You got to define your own financial success through the lens of their experiences. And because their experiences differ, there is easy internal dissonance around what you should be doing, could be doing, or have it done financially, and how that directly impacts how you feel about yourself and money. I want to be very clear. It's not a race war, it's a class war. One of the Put it like this: black men and white men share more in common, genetically speaking, share more in common than a black man and a black woman. Like men, physically, we share more in common, right, with other men. So when it comes from a class standpoint, someone who grows up in the upper class, right, their family who makes, let's say, their family makes $500,000. Black person, right, black child grows in that household half a million, and a white child grows in a household with half a million. They're going to have more in common than that black child, comparing them to someone who grows up in the inner city on poverty. They're going to have more in common with someone who they're in the same class situation with. And again, if you don't believe me, go ahead and read Malcolm Gladwell, the book Outliers. And there's some I think should be one chapter, maybe two chapters in there, but that discusses how the education system, right, and different classes, right, because your education system from a public standpoint is impacted by how much is paid in short and taxes, right. Higher income areas, they pay more taxes. Generally, the school system is better there as far as where those kids actually go to school in that district, from a zoning standpoint for each elementary, middle, and high school, even if it's in the same county. But the data shows in that book Outliers that there really isn't that big of a difference from an education standpoint in the school system. What happens is when the kids leave, so they essentially go to some summer, not summer school, but when the summer starts, you got people in the higher income tax brackets, right? They're going to museums, or they're leaving the country, things like that. They're having more experiences, where someone in the inner city, in the lower income places, they're not doing anything to continue to expand their mind and grow. And so what happens is, as more summers go, so essentially as the years go on, then you see the test scores actually have a significant delta. But essentially in first grade, it's still lower on the lower income side, but the gap is not that wide, where you can clearly say the reason the first graders in the higher tax bracket are testing better than the first graders in lower tax bracket is due straight up to the income. That's not what the data shows. It seems that the data shows what can be afforded outside of school is where things actually change. All right. We're talking about the internal factors, right? Yep, how you can do and haven't done financially, and how they directly impact how you feel about money. Additionally, these mixed match experiences result in marketing tactics that take generational and financial traumas and monetizes them. Unfortunately, it's not just non-Black financial figures who do it either. So now we're just going to blame Black people, right? It's become a culture of sales and marketing tactics that even people who look like me use, because, like me, they came up under the same instruction and influence, and likely have fallen for the same tactics that ignore cultural nuisances, and nuances, prey on limiting beliefs, and dangles the golden carrot. What's the gold? I said carrot fruit. What's the golden carrot? Is that money? Is that success? I heard the golden nugget. What's the golden carrot? Yes, I'm looking up what the golden carrot is. What's the golden carrot? The golden carrot is an item used as a brewing ingredient. No, I don't know. I've never heard that. The golden carrot. That's it. Minecraft is popping up now. All right, I'm off that. All right. To say I have what you need, you just need to show me how bad you want it. It's taking the outliers who experience success under these models and giving them a pass to rub elbows with these public figures in exchange for them praising the program and sanitizing their own experiences. What? We can't control how the Kiyosaki's, Cardones, or Ramses think or feel about their Black audiences. We don't know their intent other than by what they put out verbally or in written form, but we can certainly control how we elevate them and make them richer. It's true. We can use our experiences and the education we gain from them to create our own curriculum that tells our own stories about how to achieve success financially, while also acknowledging the obstacles we may have faced to get there. Shout out to The Richest Man in Babylon, a book that's right about Babylonian times, but way, way back in the day. And where's Babylon at? But one would say those aren't white people. That would be on like the Middle Eastern African side of things. So Wait, let me see where it says. Where is Babylon? Let me see where Babylon's located. Southern Mesopotamia. Present day, I is saying it's around present day Baghdad or Iraq. So again, Middle East. All right. All right. We can use our own experiences and the education we gain from them to create our own curriculum that tells our own stories to achieve our success and the obstacles we may have faced to get there. But now, see, this is saying in the sense that, so you're saying that none of the obstacles from a financial standpoint that Black people face are the same as white people. I feel like I got something on my nose. Maybe it's just my hair. I need to trim my mustache. But you're saying, like, what Black people experience and what white people experience is completely different, where there are no similarities from a financial standpoint? Or are you saying these three people that he's using from an example standpoint, as far as Cardone, Kiyosaki, and Ramsey, their particular experiences? Okay, and if you're a non-Black reader of this content, you can take this information and better inform how you target and curate your own content, so not to inflict traumas onto an audience that has a different set of values or culture than you. What the? I gotta take a break. What traumas? Y'all know me. I'm gonna read it again. And if you're a non-Black reader of this content, so not me, you can take this information and better inform how you target and curate your own content, so not to inflict traumas onto an audience that has a different set of values or culture than you. What traumas? Put it like this. I don't care about my bias. Shout out to the Dave Ramsey method, the seven baby steps. But let's be very clear. The Dave Ramsey method is highly conservative, arguably the most conservative financial plan out there. I don't know what trauma that plan is going to inflict on you. I don't understand. I said this many a times. If you got $12,000 in debt and you want to pay that off in a year, you have to put $1,000 a month towards that to pay it off in a year. Look at your financial situation. If you pay for your bare necessities, right, and make your minimum payments, and you still, including your minimum payments, aren't able to put $1,000 toward your debt if you just pay for the bare necessities, so no investing, no going out to eat, no vacation, none of this stuff, and you still can't put $1,000 a month towards your debt, what do you expect us to say? You have to go make more money. We've already cut everything out. And so once we cut everything out, if you don't got enough money, you got to go make more money. This is so confusing. So what trauma? The Ramsey method. Now you do the Kiyosaki, the Cardone method, which are these high risk, a lot of debt methods, OPM. I got you there on those type of traumas. But that's why I said you talking about the Ramsey method. You be careful now, because the only issue with the Dave Ramsey plan that people can really say is the order in which to do it and how aggressive you should be with paying off your debt, right? Because there's no issue with you should be aggressively trying to build wealth. Nobody complains about, in short, trying to build as much money as possible. Right? I mean, trying to make, live the lifestyle that you want to live. But when it comes to not having a lifestyle, in short, paying off your debt, building your savings, saving for a down payment, that's where there's issue. But like, there's not an issue with making sure you have money saved for retirement. There's not a conversation about. There's not a conversation about having 3 to 6 months of expenses. Now, how aggressively you should save up for that, that's up for the debate, and that's where you're going to have some complaints. But as far as the general 7 baby steps, saving emergency fund, paying off your debt, having a substantial house down payment, investing 15% at least, right? Then get to the point where you can pay off your house. You can save for your kids' college fund. I'm saying that in order now. It's like, my goodness, one of the big things, and nobody wants to talk about this, is baby step number 7. I can't remember exactly what it is, but live like no one else so that you can live and give like no one else. Let me see exactly what it is. 7 baby. But that's in the sense where now you have no debt. Your house is paid off. You might even be a millionaire by now. Right. Build wealth. Yeah, there we go. Build wealth and give. See, this giving part is where a lot of people are going to be up a creek. Shout out to 2024. When I start asking for y'all to pull up your tax returns, don't complain. I'm putting on wax now. It's March 27th, 2023, 7:42 Eastern Standard Time. Don't complain, because y'all asses be talking about how servers and all these different type of things, people who get paid a lower minimum wage, they work off tips. They don't make enough money, but your ass don't tip well. Y'all talk about giving back to charity, people in need. Well, show me where you be donating. We gonna have the conversation in 2024. I'm tired of everybody complaining about all this crap. Then when I tell you to pull up your Mint, you ain't got nothing. And Mint, if you use TurboTax, your Mint and TurboTax, right? They owned by the same company. Into it, they all right entangled together. When I start asking for tax returns, y'all really gonna be upset. How much money you make? We gonna see on your tax returns you're giving to charity. No issue over here. You taking that deduction. Remember, tax evasion is bad. Tax avoidance, shout out to that. We're gonna have to see what you're actually doing with your money, because talk is cheap, and we talking money. So this inflicting, so you don't inflict financial traumas if you're non-black. It's like, my goodness. And then when we bring up, shout out to me, but when we bring up the black creators, then y'all got an issue talking about, Cory, you be too aggressive. Shut your broke ass up. The brokey's in the front. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is the last year, but at some point in time, your how you combat someone has to be with actual results. Not that you disagree. How you disagree and you got debt and you got less money than me. What are you talking about? Or how about this? With your financial plan, whatever it is, who have you helped? And you probably ain't even helped yourself. You ain't even execute your financial plan to a point of stability. Everybody's going to be upset. All right. So I caught up, not I, but Rakim, caught up with Andre Jean Pierre. Yeah, I'm ran out of breath. Founder of Aces Advisors, a black-owned Wall Street RIA. I think that's retirement investment. I don't know. Let me see. Wall Street. Y'all, if you know me, I don't like registered investment advisor. There we go. I said retirement investment. Registered investment advisor for black and brown people. I asked him his thoughts on the whole Cardone debacle. I think this is going to be about what Grant Cardone said. Let me see if it is. I was taking it to YouTube. Yep, this is the hell what Grant Cardone said. All right. And what the impact of non-black financial figures were on the ideas and beliefs black people have about wealth building and money management. And here's what he had to say. So again, this is coming from Andre Jean Pierre, founder of Aces Advisors, a black-owned Wall Street registered investment advisor for black and brown people. So Andre says, I think it's known that it's good business to keep the black community hopeful via the dangling of a carrot over a traumatized community by a non-black messenger. Boom! You let them speak long enough, they go. Shout out to China. I already knew this was gonna be lit. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna see, and I shout out to the Internet Times. Since I've already said, I need to get the soundboard. I've already said this before. I think it's known that it's good business to keep the black community hopeful via the dangling of a carrot over a traumatized community by a non-black messenger. So someone has to explain to me, not all, but a majority of the black community is what, from a faith standpoint, Christian. And most black churches have what? A black preacher or pastor. But yet the black church is struggling financially. And not all, but a majority of the other, because there are multiple segments or different types of Christianity, but the other ones are not struggling financially. So what about the black messenger that is keeping the black community down? Because this is my one question: how often do you hear Proverbs and the financial part of Proverbs spoken and taught in black churches? How often is the financial part of the Bible taught in black churches? Shout out to Cat Williams, the GOAT. Don't worry, I'll wait. This is the part I be talking. Traumatized community. What are you talking about? If I benefit of being in Maryland, I'm near Baltimore and DC, right? Shout out to Baltimore, shout out to DC. But if I go to Baltimore on Sunday, a traumatized black community, and I go to a church there, a Baptist church, Methodist, whatever it is, what type of financial information are they giving in there besides the collection plate and the building fund? Don't do this. Because I grew up in church. Let's be very clear. I was there Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and I was there all day, every day. Not during like the daytime, but on Sunday I was there all day. On Sunday I was at church growing up over 12 hours. Let's be very clear. My mom counted the money, and my dad was one of the building managers. So he opened and closed. I was there all day. The 8 o'clock service that lasts all day, and we got the 5 o'clock service. No, 3 church services in one day. I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. He says these messengers, because when I shout out to millennials and Gen Z, I'll give y'all whatever equity you want in saying you didn't grow up in church and you spiritual, yada, yada. But your parents, no. Your grandparents, not at all. And when we bring up these Bible verses, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck about how the Black community in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, right, when your grandparents are, adult coming to age and your parents are getting older, what are we talking about? These non-Black messengers. What about the Black messengers? Because last time I checked, what the Black people, the Bible they reading is the same one that the white people was reading. These messengers come with both a beacon of hope and the magic pill to cure the ailments of the community. Jean-Pierre alludes to the financial woes of Kiyosaki, Ramsey, and Cardone existing before their popularity and state that it's no accident that they were able to accumulate a following based on the dangling hope of the community. Nigga, what? I don't know how long all of them, but I know Kiyosaki and Ramsey, probably maybe Cardone, but Kiyosaki and Ramsey, they've been out and short before this big social media, era took, before social media was even a thing, before you got the iPhone and everything. When you're talking about where they came from, like their failures before they were successful, it's not like they were out here just able to market to Black people. What do you think they was doing in the 90s? This one I get confused. I know I was born in the 90s too, shout out to 93 babies. But it's like if you was born in the 90s, you don't remember what it was like in the 80s coming into the 90s and really 2000s. As a 90s baby, you're really talking about the 2010s when as you transition 2010s when you get out of middle school into high school, if you actually be able to recognize how things are occurring. But what do you think they was doing in the 90s to market? You think they was able to just explicitly target Black people in the 90s? Let's be very clear. With what technology? The radio? Never mind. I'm not about to do this. Do y'all not remember when they had to do you had to pay for long distance calling? All right, I'm done. There was no YouTube. All right. There wasn't even this. There was no iPod for there to be a podcast. All right, I'm good. All right, Jean-Pierre, all right, talking about this. All right, okay, boom. Then he asked him, I think this is Rakim. Is it Rakim? I hate getting people's names wrong. Yeah, it's Rakim, yeah. Then Rakim asked, how does this contribute to the financial trauma? What's the trauma? Now, if this was from like a government standpoint, I see where he's coming from. But he's talking about 3 people. He's talking about 2 white men and an Asian. Sometimes we're looking for the quick magic pill. And it's that bullshit I be talking about. We do our best not to cuss on this, even though we know. This that bullshit I be talking about with these motherfuckers, y'all. I don't give a fuck. This is the bullshit. What quick magic pill? I'm pretty sure all of these people are about putting in work. I know, again, the bias. The Dave Ramsey method is not quick. They're going to tell you it's slow. So it's not that one. And that's where a lot of y'all are struggling financially because y'all listen to this bullshit, this article. Not me. You should listen to me so you don't struggle financially, so you don't be on no bullshit. But y'all listen to this shit. And this is why people be struggling financially. What quick and easy method? Again, if you don't know anything about finances, what do you do? 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna recommend most people say do the Dave Ramsey method. At least get the baby step forward and come talk to me. But most of you can't even do a budget. That's why I say pull up your mint. If you don't got a budget, what quick magic pill? You don't even know how much money you make. The amount of people who can't tell you how much money they make off the top of their head, or shout technology, pull up their budget. One of those 2 things. I know you can log into your bank account, but now you got to scroll through and figure out where your direct deposits came in. How do you not know how much money you make? Insanity. Jean-Pierre. Sometimes, okay, looking for a quick, all right, magic pill to solve issues in our community. And I don't know who's looking for that. So we got to start quoting who these people are. Jean-Pierre alluded to a willingness in the Black community to accept that solution from a messenger from outside of the community that is heralded as a savior. Shout out to Anton Daniels. Go over to Anton Daniels. Or I think it's Millionaire Morning Show, but you can just type in Anton Daniels on YouTube. Look, if y'all want, I would say, and I'm not there yet because they're about 10 years older than me, but if Anthony O'Neill and Anton Daniels, you merge them, that'd probably be me. That'd probably be me. Those are two people that I look up to in this space. I'm more on the shout out to the Christians, piece, right? Both of them, but I'm like Anton, I still be cussing out this motherfucker, so because when y'all be on that bull job, I gotta call it out. All right, this then contributes to trauma. in that these saviors, look at these words, trauma and saviors. This then contributes to trauma in that these saviors, quote unquote, recognize the situations of want and desperation and capitalize on that to bring them into their audiences. I want to be very clear. Nowadays, again, 20 years ago, cool. But there's so much free information I know from these three people. There's so much free information now that it's on you if you spend them. Shout out to God. This is what I do. Aren't black people struggling financially? What money do they have to get got with? I know about the spending power, but in short, if we don't got no money, how we getting got for the money? Make it make sense. Now I know about the spending power, but still, in the general sense of, all right, we're on the lower. We talk about our spending power, but we're on the lower income earning side of things. Do you know white, Asian, Hispanic, and black? I think we right. I haven't looked at the most recent numbers, but we're either third, or, we're either above Hispanics or we're last. The data is always coming in on that. But it's like, my goodness, you're talking about they recognize the situations of want and desperation and capitalize on that to bring them into the audiences. Now, Grant Cardone, he'd let that be known, but y'all don't see. If y'all just follow Dave Ramsey, you would have known when the pandemic first started. It might have been April or May, but right when the pandemic first started, he took his entire, when he talks about Financial Peace University, he made it free for 2 weeks. Free for 2 weeks. And you are able, and I took advantage of the opportunity, right? Hard work plus luck equals, hard work and opportunity is luck. I took advantage of that. You could download all the resources to your local computer. It's not like it's the free version, so you couldn't download the resources. And they had audio versions of all the classes. So obviously not going to be updated when they update stuff, because once their free trial ends. But you could have downloaded the latest version of 2020 at the time, March, April timeframe. All the free resources, his budgeting app, every dollar. That's what I use. That's what Jordan uses. We tell you all about that. Like, there's a whole bunch of free resources out there. And if y'all getting got from a financial standpoint, meaning you're spending money on scammers or things that aren't giving you enough bang for your buck, that's on you. As I say, the hood's on the internet. This lack of educate. How much longer are we going to keep saying people are no longer educated in the millennial plus range? It's so confusing. You get on the internet and say you don't know anything. Well, take your ass and go to Google. I'm screaming. My bad for the audio is crackling. It doesn't make any sense. It's like when people complain about capitalism on their iPhone. I mean, my goodness, you're using the benefits of what you're complaining about. You saying you don't know anything, and then you get to the internet and tell the internet you don't know anything. And the internet is literally where you go to know things. And you wonder why we behind. What's my heart rate at? I can dead ass feel my heart rate going. Look, I just got a 200%. I just got 200% on my move go on my Apple Watch. What's my heart rate at? It's saying it's at 88 beats. My resting heart rate is normally 66. I'm at 97. Excuse me. He mentioned, however, that he does believe there's a place for people who can galvanize and spark the curiosity of the people. We don't need to be curious. No more curiosity. Get on a budget, pay off your debt, start investing. Thank you. 3-step process. His hope is that people outside of the community who can do this are okay with sharing insights and profit without trying to take advantage of Black people, because he's afraid that in an era where we're in an attention economy, that they are able to deliver messages that sound too good to be true, but appear too good to ignore. Shout out to marketing. He makes reference to the 5- and 6-figure price tags on courses from the likes of Kiyosaki and Cardone, which I personally fallen victim to in my early. Notice how Ramsey's name is not on here. And this is what I'm talking about. Shout out to the clickbait. Because I do believe, in all honesty, the hate for Dave Ramsey is on the internet is just because it's great for the algorithm. Because most people, if you actually just write down what their financial, their step processes, whatever it is, and then you do write it next to Dave Ramsey, you just write it. You don't know you don't put a label on it. It's going to be damn near identical. And then we're going to put one has been around for 30 plus years. And it's going to be like, well, I guess it looks like you just got it from this one over here. So notice again, and this is what I be talking about again. I have no knock. Shout out to the thumbnail. But he's saying that people with gotchas is the Kiyosaki Cardone stuff, and I don't. Again, if you want to read books is one thing, because books don't cost 5-6 figures. I don't. Okay, let's be clear. 5 figures is 10,000. 6 figures is 100K. He's making from 10,000. That's on you. If you, I want to be clear. Never mind. If you got the 10K to spend on one of these courses, what's your student loan situation look like? This is insanity. And when you hear stuff like this, like, it is sad, but it's like, that might be on you. All right. Long story long, I think that the voices of the spectrum of Black experiences need to be told, not sold, to which is a delicate tightrope to walk as a content creator who often talks about the traumatic experiences of poverty. I like to think of myself as acting as a beacon in a sense to a changing mindset in the navigation of obstacles. It's my hope that the sharing of my thoughts and experiences inspire all people to set on a path for defining and achieving financial success for themselves. What are your thoughts on this? I just gave my thoughts. Okay, certified financial educator, registered financial consultant. Okay, he's giving his titles. Okay, cool. Great article, by the way, though. Overcoming financial trauma. Let me be very clear. Be very, very clear. What we don't want to talk about, how people in poverty, your mother made decisions to intentionally keep you in poverty. A lot of y'all are food stamps and welfare babies. A lot of y'all, even maybe not you, but what we don't want to talk about is how when you do have more children, you get more government benefits, and how your mom had at least you or a younger sibling or multiple siblings to keep you in that situation. If we're not going to talk about it at all, then we're not going to talk about it at all. I don't want to hold no punches. But we're gonna talk about the whole thing or not the whole thing. It's one thing to be in poverty and just you and your mom, you're struggling, and your dad was a deadbeat. Cool. But that's not the case for most of y'all. Because most people have siblings. Never mind. Then we're gonna talk about you lying. So again, I don't know Rakim, but my guess is Rakim at least has a sibling. That's the numbers. Okay. We want to talk about the whole picture. Yes, you can talk about Black people, slavery, all right, and how we got to this place. Cool. But at what point in time is it on you to take control of your life? That's the question that people don't want to have an answer to. Then I'll give people a pass. I'll give the silent generation a pass. I'll even give the baby boomers a pass. If you were born during Jim Crow, I'll give you a pass as a Black person. You get a pass. Generation X, I'll give you a pass too, because your parents are going to be baby boomers, a silent generation. However, when we transition to millennials, if you were born in the 80s and beyond, I don't want to hear none of that shit you talking. Let me pull the calculator again. 2023. Let's just do 1980. That means you were 43. If you were 43 and you still haven't figured it the fuck out, that is on you. I want to be very clear. I'll even give millennials a pass because I'm nice. Because like myself, your parents may be baby boomers. Both my parents were born during Jim Crow. Cool. And I know people the same age as me with, parents older than mine. So cool. Right? Jim Crow, born in the South. Got it. Gotcha. Your parents were born before your parents are Black, were born in the South, and were born before the Civil Rights Movement. Got it. But when we get to Gen Alpha and Gen Z, no excuses. You were born in 1997 and beyond. Your birth certificate has a 2000 for the year. None of that shit flies. That's why the student loan situation is going to get very weird when the children of millennials, the main people from a voice standpoint that are complaining about this student loan debt, when the children of millennials are going to college. If you're the child of millennial and you take out student loan debt, that's on you. Shout out to the iPad generation. That's what I call the kids. Excuse me for hitting the mic again. But it's going to get very confusing when we start slowly but surely laying out the whole story. Yes, we understand about the financial hardships that Black people face in America. However, where is your budget? Again, this was 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, 2013, right? Everybody's just getting an iPhone. You might not have had an iPhone yet. I can't remember when BlackBerry died, but you're just getting an iPhone. But even 15, 20 years ago, coming into this millennium, I got you. But you can't be on your iPhone watching this right now, bitching. Download the Every Dollar app. How much money do you make? If you don't know, log into your bank account. You don't have access to your bank account because you restrict your cash and you to mess up some stuff. Okay, go to the bank and get your printed out bank statements. Remember, I'm on teleside now. Know what I'm talking about. And figure out how much money you make. Then write down your basic necessities. Grocery bill. Not going out to eat. Grocery bill. And obviously your toiletries. Make sure you got toilet paper. Wipe your, okay. Rent or your mortgage, utilities, right? Electric, gas, water, whatever you need for your household. Cell phone bill, Wi-Fi. I'll give you cell phone and Wi-Fi. Those are borderline necessities right now. Then you got clothing if you have children. Again, if you do not have children and you are not on a significant weight gain or weight loss journey, you do not need to spend any money on clothes on a monthly basis. This is where we have an issue. We're talking about the trauma and the black. Okay, you come to me and you have no children and you're not trying to gain weight or lose weight to the point where your body is actually going to change, where you need new clothes. Why are you budgeting out money on a monthly basis from a necessity standpoint for clothes? No. Now we got to have that conversation. And while we having that conversation, you still don't got no money and your ass broke. Brokey's in the front. That's y'all. Okay. After we get out from clothing, transportation, car insurance first. Why do I pay my car insurance first? Why you got to argue? Why don't you have no money? Why are you here listening to me? Because you're trying to figure out what to do. Car insurance first. You need that by law. Okay. Then gas. Then your car note. Why I'm paying car note third? Why I'm paying for car note first? Shout out to the pandemic when y'all found out that the banks, yes, they do want their payments, but they will work with you on your payments if something crazy happens, like a pandemic. Y'all found out y'all really have to make these payments because the bank can just really not, they can just change their system. I don't know anything about helping people who have reduced payments but still keep their bank account in standing. I have no experience with that. I have no teller experience. I don't know what it's like to work with people and look at bank accounts where people have their minimum payment as $100, but they have made up an agreement to where they can pay $50 for 6 months until they get things right. I don't know anything about that. After you take care of your grocery bill, after you take care of housing, after you take care of basic clothing, after you take care of transportation, any other insurance you might have to pay for, everyone isn't paying for, healthcare, dental, vision via work as far as the deduction before they actually get paid in their bank account. So you got to take care of stuff there. Life insurance goes here as well, right? If you got, renter's insurance, but, if you got a mortgage, it's likely taken care of when we talked about your mortgage payment after the groceries. All right. After you subtract all of that from your income, you're going to have a certain amount of money left over. Multiply that number by 12. That's the most you can do from a financial goal standpoint in a year unless you increase your income. Your expenses are as low as they can get. We just did bare necessities. So if that number isn't enough for you, when you multiply by 12 in a year, you got to go make more money. Again, if that number is not $1,000 and you want to pay off $12,000 this year, say it's January 1st, this year in debt, you got to go make more money. It's $500. You got to go find $500. It's like we did your whole budget where we did your eating out, we did your investing, things like that, and we can cut some stuff out. We can't cut nothing out. Yes, you can manipulate your gas, your groceries, those variable necessities, your utilities, but not to the point where you're going to, hit that goal unless, you're $20 or $30 off, right? So if you got, if you had $970, all right, that's $1,000. But if you have $500, $600, $700, it's going to be hard to cut your grocery bill and your gas and utilities and get another $300 out of that. So at some point in time, the conversation has to be, when are you going to go put in the work to get what you want out of life? I get about all this stuff that everybody's saying. I'm getting confused. I thought y'all was strong and kings and queens and had all this power from the ancestors and all this shit y'all talk, yet y'all sound so weak. This is shit I be talking about. People be bitching so much. I'd be so confused. By the way, it's late at night. I'm getting tired. If you don't know, my filter go off. Shout out to the late night. This is one of the reasons I don't stream at night, because I know my filter is going to be gone, right? But I do it in the morning before I go to work. I still got my energy, I got to turn on my work filters. I don't be cussing at work like that. But it's going to get insane when we start talking about at what point in time when is it on you to do what you need to do. We get about all the different situations that different communities face or lack thereof, depending on your perspective on that. But when is it going to be on you to do what you need to do? It is literally that simple. Necessities, debt payments, investments, lifestyle. Shout out to Cory and FinallyFit podcast. We help y'all at least once a week on here. Have hours and hours of content. Free. It's all free. It's all free. Yes, you can reach out to me for financial coaching, and there is a difference, but it is not to the point where you have to spend money. You do not have to spend money for me. You don't have to give me money to get your finances right. I have enough stuff up here. Jordan and I have enough stuff up here for you to get your finances together for free. All you need is that internet, that cell phone, and that Wi-Fi bill that I told you can pay for. That's it. All right, so y'all gonna put in the work. You're not gonna put in the work. God dang, almost an hour in insanity. When I call my wife, she gonna be like, God dang. Y'all, again, shout out the impact of non-Black financial figures on the Black financial wellness, exploring the role of culture and confidence in shaping the financial beliefs and experiences of Black people by Rakim Sabri, February 24th. At some point in time, it's on you. The Black net worth is going down. It's well known that the Black net worth is going down year over year. What do y'all want? I mean, put it like this. This article drop. I'm not saying that we're anti, but we don't tell y'all to go, these three people, Cardone, Kiyosaki, Ramsey, we recommend Ramsey over here. That's us, because we on the anti-debt side. No debt, no debt, no debt. We're not all the way no debt, but if you had to force us, we're on the no debt side over here. I don't know what type of trauma, when I can't have no debt, and everybody has everybody always says how people who don't have money should be able to take out debt. It gets confusing. It gets extremely confusing. I still got that like, share, and subscribe button. It's all, I forget to turn it off when I forget to do like this. All right, y'all, but I'm gonna put it back up. To wrap up, I just went over the budget real quick. If you don't have $1,000 and you want a month to put towards whatever, it doesn't have to be debt. And that's where people can get counterpunched into oblivion. It doesn't have to be debt. It can be whatever your financial goals are. Saving them for a vacation, house down payment, engagement ring, whatever it is. Whatever you're trying to do in that time frame, if you don't have the money when you just pay for your basic necessities, you got to go make more money. What financial trauma is that? What type of savior or whatever BS it was you're talking about? The article was, it was good in the sense of shout out to the content, but like, what type of trauma is that? You need $1,000 this month to hit your goals, and you don't got it if you only pay for your necessities. You got to go make more money. What, we need to let you take out debt? Now you're gonna be in debt. I thought you're struggling to pay your bills. Why would we have you go in debt and add another payment to your budget? All right, y'all. Again, shout out to the YouTube algorithm. Like, share, and subscribe. Again, I'm Silent_Cory, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Co-host Jordan, Stop Stalling J, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as well. His business page, FinallyFit06, Instagram, FinallyFit, Facebook. FinallyFit.live is his website. 5:30 a.m. Monday and Wednesday for online virtual training. Tuesday and Thursday, 6 a.m. for online virtual training. Monday and Wednesday is more intermediate advanced. Tuesday and Thursday is going to be the beginner classes. For myself, financial coaching, that information is in the show notes on YouTube. But $500, it's not $500 yet. No, it's not $500. $50. I'm gonna charge you $50 for one 1-hour session a week. I lied. I'm gonna charge you $50 for one 1-hour session a month. I'm getting tired now. I use all my. I'm like, I got adrenaline I got adrenaline overdose. $50 for one 1-hour session a month. $100 for up to one 1-hour session a week. So essentially 4 sessions in a month, right? And then 5 every now and then. I think 2 months out the year, or 4 months, where it would be 5. But sometimes the day has 5. $50. Way is below my hourly rate in real life. Trying to help y'all best I can. I got all the free financial information. Shout out to the link tree. I forget. I got the financial side startup kit information on there for you to read, just to challenge your thinking from a financial perspective from a Black content creator curator that y'all be complaining about. And I did that in like 2020, going into 2020. I did that a couple years ago, a year ago maybe. I think going into 2021. But like, I don't know what y'all want. I got the budget template. If you don't want to use the white man's budget, I got the budget template. I got plenty of resources. All right. And don't hate the white man so much. You shout out to the IRS. You're going to need to know these tax laws so you don't commit fraud. Tax evasion. You don't want to break. You don't want to deal with the IRS. All right, y'all. That's it again. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, reach out to myself. If you want us to talk about something, you can DM me, just like China again. Shout out to China. Shout out to Squad. You can DM me, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, on anything you want me to talk about, or Jordan, or the both of us, and just let us know. We will queue it up. Again, comments. Let me know what you thought about this video. Do you think that Black people need to stop listening to non-Black people in the financial space? I love how everyone wants to pick and choose what we're gonna, as Black people, what are we gonna take from non-Black people? Because then when I ask about, well, what can we do without it? Let's be clear. Shout out to BG&E. I don't know who work at BG&E, but they need to keep working because I keep getting this electricity and this gas in the conversation. What? Y'all be sounding crazy sometimes. All right, y'all. That's it. Again, remember to save more. Remember to save more and say less. This is a wild episode. And keep making better your best. And I will catch y'all in the next one.